Good morning students, welcome back to our e-learning class. Today I will take class 10 economics class, your SSC class, and I take your economics part. So in previous class we already started the sectors of Indian economy. Okay, so in our Indian economy there are three sectors. One is the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector or service sector. So, we remind about the previous lesson. The primary sector means the sector which are related with the natural resources, okay, including agriculture sector, forestry, fishing. So, these are included in the primary sector. Basically, the primary sector are the suppliers of the raw materials. And the secondary sector is also called the industrial sector. The secondary sector covers the activities in which natural products are changed into another form of products. That means in the secondary sector or the industrial sector, we can transform one product to the another product, and this basically depend on various industrial sector. Now the tertiary sector or service sector. This tertiary sector or service sector is support to other two sector. If we say about the transportation, okay, so we need to send the raw materials to one industry, so we need the transportation. So this transportation is one example of the tertiary sector. Okay students? So now we talk about two things. One is the, okay, in previous class we already also said two more sector which included in present days. One is the quaternary sector. So this quaternary sector includes the knowledge oriented economic sector. That means information technology, media, research and development, these are included in quaternary sector. And the next one is quinary sector. Okay, this quinary sector represents highest category of decision maker who formulate the policy guidelines in industry, government departments, science and technology. So, by these departments, government departments, science and technology, they formulate the new decision or formulate the policy. These are included in the quinary sectors. Okay, now we talk about the various type of goods. Okay, which we need in our production. So, there are the two type of goods. One is intermediate goods. So, which goods are called intermediate goods? So, if we talk about the raw materials, these raw materials are some inputs which are again to use for the making any another commodity or another product for the consumption. So, the inputs which are used for the making any commodity, these are called the intermediate goods. Okay students? Now we talk about the final goods. Okay, so which are the intermediate goods? The intermediate goods, that the goods which are the inputs which are used for the making the another products, which is called the intermediate goods. Like for example, raw materials. Okay, now final goods. Final goods, the goods which are ready for the final consumptions. Okay, so the goods which are ready for our consumption purpose, this is called the final goods. If we talk about the bread, okay, bread, these are we use for our the self consumption or final consumption, but this bread are made from which product? This bread we can make by the wheat. So there wheat is the raw materials or inputs, and after that in the industry, the help of the wheat oil, they produce the bread which used for the consumption, and this one is called the final goods. Okay students, so there are two types of goods, intermediate goods and final goods. Now we come to the next one is GDP. What is GDP? GDP means gross domestic product. Okay, so what is mean of gross domestic product? The value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provide the total production of the sector of that year is called the GDP, or in easy language we can say the GDP is the total values or total sum of the all values of goods and services which is produced within a year in a particular country. Okay students, so this is called the gross domestic product. So when we count the GDP, we face one problem. This problem is called the double counting problem. Okay, so let's see in your book, page number 22, they are given, remember there is one precaution one has to take. Not every good or service that produced and sold needs to be counted. It makes sense only to the include final goods and services. So let's see by one example. If one farmer sell the wheat to flour mill rupees 80 per kg. So price of wheat is rupees 8 per kg. So farmer this wheat sell to the flour mill rupees 8 per kg. Now mill grinds the wheat and sell the flour to biscuit company. So the cost of flour is rupees 10 per kg. Okay, now the biscuit company uses flour and the things such as sugar and oil to make 4 packets of biscuit to sell biscuit in the market to the consumer. So biscuit cost of biscuit rupees 15 per packet. Okay. So when the company sell the biscuit in the market to the consumer rupees 60, that means per packet is 15, that means there is the 4 packets. Biscuit are called here biscuit is the final goods. This biscuit here final goods. Okay students, so the cost of biscuit per packet is rupees 15. So when we count the GDP of a country, we only include the price of the biscuit in the GDP, not all the values of the other materials like wheat, flour, because these prices already included in the price of the biscuit. Okay students, so why are only final goods and services counted? So this question also important. Why are only final goods and services counted? Why we not counted the prices of the intermediate goods? In contrast to final goods, goods such as wheat and wheat flour in this example are intermediate goods. So intermediate goods are used up in producing final goods and services. The value of final goods already include in these values. That's why we only count the value of the final goods. The value of rupees 60 for the biscuit is the final goods. Already we included the value of flour in the final goods. So that's why we not counted the value of intermediate goods when we counted the value of the final goods. So in GDP we only count the value of the final goods. That's why when we talking about the definition of the GDP, we can tell that the total value of the final goods and services during a year within a country is called the GDP. Okay, now we come to the next, the historical change in sectors. So when one country is basically, the main population is basically depend on the primary sector, so this country is the less developed country. But when the country change to transform their primary sector to the industrial sector or the service sector, then this country is called the developing country. Okay students, so when the farming change and agriculture sector began to prosperous, it produced much more food than before. Many people could now take up other activities. There were increased the number of craftspersons and traders. Buying and selling activities increased by many times. Besides, there were also transport, administrations, army. However, at this stage, most of the goods produced were natural products from the primary sector, and the most people also employed in this sector. Now over a long time, especially because the new methods in manufacturing were introduced, obviously also in our agriculture, in the times of the 1960s, the green revolution also introduced, and in the times of green revolution, the farmer, they used the new technology, they adapted the new technology. So this new technology means the high yielding varieties of seeds, chemical fertilizers, various types of machineries which also produced in the industry. Okay, so the more people they are employed in the industrial sector, so obviously country is developing, and for these are, and for supporting these two sector, service sector also came, and also there are the main reason to developing one country. When the another two sector, industrial sector and tertiary sector, more developed than the primary sector, then this country obviously developed. Okay, now those people who had earlier worked on farms now began to work in factories in large numbers. People began to use many more goods that were produced in factories at cheap rates. So secondary sector gradually became most important in total production and employment. Hence, over time a shift had taken place. This means that importance of the sector has changed. Again, the tertiary sector also here include, because this tertiary sector also help to other two sectors. Okay, students. Now, so over the past 100 years, India also, now if we talking about the present days, India also developed by the service sector. So now India is a developing country. So the next day or the next class we continue this chapter in our the further classes. Okay, student. So today that's it for today. Thank you.